Hey, beautiful ones! So excited to be here with you. Apologies for being late to the call. I was finishing up on a session with an amazing woman, so very excited to dive into tonight's topic. Waiting for a soul sister to join us. Hey, Vashti. Approve.
There we go.
Yes, we did it. Hey, gorgeous Chelsea. How are you, darling? All the soul sisters are coming on. We are running a little bit behind today. I was just speaking to a gorgeous woman in Australia. So let's just wait a few more seconds and then we'll get going. And Vashti, do you know what? I'm going to do my best to let you speak more than me today.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
yes, because I know that this strikes a real chord with you, something that's come up for you.
Absolutely.
For those of you joining, tonight's topic is, do you really find yourself constantly questioning yourself when it comes to, is this the right relationship? Is this guy the one? Should I stay in this or is there someone better?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go into what's really going on with that. But before we do, while we're waiting for people to join us, something I wanted to speak into is I've had a few people reaching out to me, and it's like these questions that require so much more than a quick piece of advice. So any of you in this community, some of you have been on calls with me, but you want to just have this like bare minimum, like quick fix answer. And I know, Vashti, right now, like there is nothing quick fix about getting into alignment.
Absolutely not.
Right? So like hey, gorgeous Kiki, I want to say to you from the bottom of my heart right now, if you're in the same place you were like this time last year and the year before that, right? Hey, gorgeous Eleni, you can't just be snooping around looking for like one piece of advice in a podcast or a webinar or books or like bits and pieces. Trust me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. And you wouldn't be in the place you're in right now if it was working. So I want you to play a bigger game for yourself. And I will not be answering, by the way. If you just like private message me, I love you girls. But if you private message me thinking that it's just like one little tweak that you need, do not expect a response. Ask questions in this group so I can reply so everyone can see it. But I just want to be really clear that you're ripping yourself off from creating a future on purpose. It does not happen with advice. And I'm not here to hand out Band-Aids when what you need is heart surgery. So I just wanted to get that on the table, Vashti, and I'm sure you've probably even got something to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I did a lot of that in the past, looking for that one little snippet of advice from Dr. Drew or whoever to be like, oh, that's the thing I needed. Okay, let me just put that into practice. That's not it at all. It's very deep work that takes time, not just the one little quick fix.
Well, if only it was. Like I said to this beautiful, I've had, women ask me, like, Lucy, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, it's not on a PDF.
Yeah.
And most of the women that I get to work with have been trying, like therapy or NLP or you name it. I could go on and on. Hypnosis,
Yeah.
Tapping. And while this is all really helpful, it's lacking the deep heart integration, right? Hey, gorgeous Charlotte. And, Vashti, when you came to me, like I picked with you straight away. I'm like, oh, this woman is so bright. And this is the thing. I'm so lucky. I only work with really fucking amazing women. That's seriously like the prerequisite.
Yeah.
And you were in a place, Vashti. So Vashti right now is actually going through Soul to Soul. But the reason I called on her was that, she was just speaking about this in the group with another soul sister just recently. And this comes up all the time. And as I said, today's topic is, do you find yourself doubting your decisions? Like really wondering, I'm not going to know him even when he's in front of me. So Vashti, I'd love for you just to kick off with really like how this was occurring for you, when you came in to work with me and on that first call, like just share like exactly where you were sitting in your life, having just come out of a marriage.
Well, I mean, my old story was that I had a bad picker, daddy issues, blah, blah, blah. Anybody I'm attracted to them because they're wrong for me, And so what I need to do is do the complete opposite and try to seek out somebody who I'm not attracted to, which makes a ton of sense, right? Like do that. And I had had a really bad relationship a few years ago. After that, I'd met my now ex-husband, and I thought he was the opposite of everything that previous relationship guy was. I was like, okay, this is somebody who is completely off my beaten path, somebody I would not have chosen in a lineup in a million years. I'm going to go for this because he's, if this guy is angsty and whatever, this guy's like happy and bouncy, like I'm going to
Yeah,
go for that. You know what I mean?
totally.
And married this guy, and turns out he's basically the same person again. Again.
Yes, Vashti. He was in disguise of a nice
Yes.
guy.
Yes, he had a German accent, so he sounded very different, but he was the same guy. And
Don't you hate that?
oh my
Oh my
God,
God.
it was like, what? I tried so hard to do anything but the same thing, but yet again. And, broke up with him and felt like that was the right thing to do. But on paper, he was, good marriage material. And so my mom was very into him and thought he's very charming. He can talk his way into anything. And she was like, oh my God, he's so great for you. And he loves you. And da da da. You have to. And so I married him against
Mm,
my better judgment because I didn't trust my own judgment. Because I have a bad picker. That was the story I told myself. And so I thought, well, she probably knows better than I do. She knows better about, I've never been married before. She knows better about husband material than I do. And she's thinking long term. Maybe I'm not thinking long term enough. Okay, go for it.
right. And so where was that decision made then of like, well, I'll just marry him, and like where was that decision truly made from?
Oh, definitely in my head. I mean, I I don't know if I physically made a checklist or a pros and cons sheet. That's what I do, but I probably did, and weighed it all out and was like, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, let's go for it.
Well, what I know about you, Vashti, is that's not how you roll anymore. We're not even finished with you, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that knows you in soul to soul right now is like, freaking Vashti is a fucking powerhouse. Anyone watching this, you don't need me to spell that out. But Vashti is like so many of you, and that's why I brought her on, because she was too smart for her own good. You know what I mean by that? Like,
Yeah,
you
for
weren't
sure.
feeling your way into these relationships. It
That's
was
right.
all from here. And it was also because you want to be a mum, and you're in an age right now in your later part of the 30s,
Yeah.
where it's like, well, I just want to get this show on the road.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was a big part of it because it was like, okay, my mom thinks he's good and he loves me apparently, and I want to have a family. Let's just go. Like, how long is it going to take if I break up with him completely to find someone else and go through the whole relationship again? And you know what I mean? It was just like, okay, this is happening now. Let's just jump. Let's go for it.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
really, hey, I love all these comments right now. Like, the girls are so relating. Like, Elaine's like, oh my God, I know how that goes. And Kelsey did the same thing. I've done the same thing a million times. Didn't get as far as marriage, but my God, was I thinking, oh, this guy's different. No. And
Yeah.
you know why, girls? You know why? Here's the hitter. The hitter? That's not the word.
The clincher?
Yeah, the clencher. That'll do. It's pregnancy brain. We're expecting a different result when we, hey, gorgeous Taya, when we haven't changed our inner belief system and we haven't done the work to get our heart open.
Mm-hmm.
So what was missing is, it's no doubt about it that you're this epic, amazing woman, right? But you weren't leading with that. You weren't leading
No.
with your self-worth. You weren't leading with your beautiful intuition tapped in and turned on. You were leading from, I hope this is going to work.
Yeah.
You weren't trusting yourself. You were putting, other people's opinions above your own, and just
Completely.
like winging it, right?
Completely. Yeah, no, I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my self-worth. It was like, well, this one loves me. Okay, I'm going to have to try to find someone else who loves me. Oh my God, how difficult is that going to be? You know what I mean? That sort of fear-based
Yes.
thinking that there was, that relationships like that would be scarce. And so I'd better make the best of this one.
That,
Ew.
I'm not even going to fast forward over. I want us to all just, like, that's gold right there. Relationships are hard. I mean, I better just make this one work, because
Mm-hmm.
it was coming from scarcity and fear and lack. And this, girls, is what I want to share with you, is don't expect to move on to a new relationship when you have not healed and cleared your past. I had a soul sister reach out to me about this very thing. Don't fool yourself that you're suddenly just going to have this magical relationship when you haven't dealt with your fear blocks, your fear of loss, your fear of relationships not working, your fear of not being enough, and also when you most importantly haven't done the work to get your heart open. The heart doesn't just close because that seems like a good idea. Our hearts close by our little girl who was terrified as a little girl to let love in because it didn't feel safe. This is not something we fix just like that. Can it be solved? Absolutely. Vashti's already like freaking on her path right now, but
Oh, yeah.
it's totally 100%. And you can feel the difference, can't you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, completely. It feels like a completely different person.
You do.
I feel like a completely different person. Yeah.
Then just, and what is it? What, 4 weeks? 5?
6?
6?
5.5, 6, something like that. Yeah.
6. Okay, fine, 6.
Yeah.
So, really, what I want to speak into right now is if you're constantly questioning yourself. First of all, before we even get into a relationship, it's like this fear of like, oh my God, it's not even going to last before we even start. Then if you do find yourself in a relationship, it's this constant like, oh my God, is this going to last? Is this the guy for me? And then before you know it, it's over.
Yeah.
And this isn't just happening because of the guys. This is what I want to make really clear here. We can't just throw all the guys in the world under the bus. This is coming directly from us and our lack of belief that we deserve it and that we can have it. Because those other relationships we've had have been toxic, or they've been based on codependence or need versus coming from a place of wholeness and fullness. And trust me, been there. I used to attract in relationships from this needy place from my little girl, and I was always perplexed why they ended. But it's because I didn't believe that I could actually make it work. I didn't believe that men would choose me for the long haul. And that was all from my little girl. Like my empress, like your empress, knows that it's crock of shit. But we can't make change cerebrally just by having a conversation. We've got to actually be willing to dig into our courage and to shine the light on these parts of ourselves that have been hidden and have been closed for years and years and years. Because ultimately right now, and I want you all to hear this, it's your little girl right now that is running the show. She's the one sabotaging. She's the one that doesn't believe, and she's the one trying to keep you safe. That's what's going on. And it's not, you're out there in the world trying to get into a relationship from your masculine, trying harder to make it work, trying harder on the apps, trying to be the version of yourself that you think you should be. No! You don't have to fucking change brilliant because you're brilliant. But that's what we do. We go and think we've got to lose weight, think we should look younger, get Botox, get this, get that, get the latest dress. It's none of that, is it, Vashti?
Write the perfect profile on Match or eHarmony. If only I got it right, then I'd meet the right guy somehow, right?
Right? Like, what were you telling yourself? What were you telling yourself, Vashti?
After the divorce?
Yeah.
After the divorce, I was telling myself that I needed to update my checklist. You know, knowing what I knew now after having gotten divorced from him, I was like, okay, so what don't I want? Well, I know I don't want this, this, and this, you know, whatever attributes he had. Maybe I want this, this, and this other thing. So again, acting from my head, you know, I'm going to go get a whole new wardrobe. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get on Match. I'm going to get on eHarmony. And there was something that stopped me. I'd actually signed up for Match and eHarmony before I started seeing your posts and things on Facebook. I'd actually signed up for those things and was about to go in and like really tweak my profile and get super serious about it. And then I started seeing like how much those things cost. And I was like, even just to talk to people, it's like $100. That just seems like, and something stopped me. And I realized it wasn't really the money after a while. I was like, it's not the money. What's stopping me from doing that?
Yeah.
And then I started seeing your posts, and they made so much sense because I don't remember, I'm going to paraphrase, but some of the things you were saying was it wasn't about the guy. Look at yourself. Like, what are you doing? Just like what you're saying right now, because the constant denominator in all of these things is you. So what's going on?
Oh my God.
And I was so glad to see that. I was like, that's why I can't sign up for Match and eHarmony. Okay. Because I'll blow $100 on, you know, Thai food like in a second. So it wasn't the money. It wasn't the money, but I knew something was wrong about all of those things. And when I saw your message, I was like, that's it. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Well, that's the part where things start to get actually really juicy, because you'd be surprised the amount of women that say to me, I've never thought it was me. I just assumed that I hadn't met the right guy yet, which I've done other lives on. And it's nothing, this is the empowering part, girls, I want you to hear. Do not keep blaming men or dating or apps or where you live or your childhood or anything, because no matter what you've been through, I've worked with women that have really fucking been through it. Some of them, sexual abuse. I've been through it with trauma, with death at a young age. Vashti's been through it. All my women are fucking amazing, and because we've been through it is why we're fucking extraordinary. Just for the record, it's true. It's like the darker you go, it's like the higher you rise, or the more you fall, and it's like you're gonna hit that peak. So no matter where you are right now in your life with whatever you've been through, I have women telling me they're broken. You're not broken. No one on the planet is broken. Seriously. But the fear, the walls, the protection, the victimhood is enough to keep you in the belief that love isn't safe, and it's enough to keep you single, and it's enough to keep you out of the future that you could be creating right now. It's also going to keep you out of being a mum. And that was something that when I had that come up in my face of like, if I don't solve my stuff right now, I will not be a mother. Mm-hmm. And I could break down on the floor right now at the strength of how that hit me. Like, I'm sure you can feel that, Vashti. It's just like,
oh yeah,
I was not willing to tolerate that. And I didn't 100%. Have any proof. I didn't have a husband in my life at the time. I'm now pregnant. I was nowhere close to being pregnant. And I was like, shit, Luce, like, no matter what work you've done, because I'd done a lot, I went, you obviously still haven't got your heart open, because you're attracting in, like you said, Vashti, seemingly different guys. Nope. The underbelly was always the same.
Yeah. Different package.
Because I still hadn't like cracked the code. So, and also it was like, it's the feminine, Vashti, isn't it, that we're talking about, which is the deep trust. It's the receiving, it's the allowing, taking up space and being unapologetically you, girls. And so many of you are not touching the sides of who you are, yet you expect your knight in shining armor to come along. So just to come back to the thread of the conversation, what I want you to hear is possibility in this live, that the fact that you are second guessing yourself in these relationships and wondering if it's the guy speaks to your lack of connection to your heart, to your truth, to your intuition, and to your fucking greatness. That's what's missing. When you are in alignment with how fucking extraordinary you are, and you're in your value and you're in your worth, and you've done the work to create a new identity and new belief systems of who you are in the world, there's no way in hell you can attract in the same drop kicks who weren't showing up for you. Can't happen. Can you feel that, Vashti?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I've run into a few drop kicks in the last couple of weeks, and I've just been like, I would have been so into you a year ago, and now it's just having no effect on me whatsoever.
Wow, that's so fucking cool. Swearing like a trooper. Sorry to say, y'all, don't listen to mummy swear, okay? And that's so awesome, Vashti. I know you've even mentioned, like, no one dates in the 8 weeks, by the way, because you're not ready. It's like you drink driving. It's like, no. This is not about rushing to get an outcome. This is about clearing the cobwebs and the stories and the bullshit that you've been living in. So it's always like you've been down on the bottom of an ocean, like underneath a rock, and it's about setting yourself free to come up to the surface of the ocean so you can see the world again. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth is that I know when you and I spoke, Vashti, it's like you were really present to the consequence of not solving this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to ask you twice.
No.
And that was when I knew you were ready to rock and roll. You were like, I can't be in this place this time next year. I'm not willing to go another fucking month, let alone a year.
Yeah, no, not another failed relationship. Not again.
No.
Because that's what happens to all of them.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I can recount, tons and tons of relationships. Oh, what happened with this guy? What happened with that guy? What year was that? Well, that was 2004. And then that was 2006. And then now we're in 2019. And it's like, this is the same thing happening over and over and over again. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like
I went off this roller coaster. I just went off. I'm done. I'm really done. I was doing the same shit at 21 and then at 35 and now at 37. Like, okay. At what point do you realize it's me, you know? I have to do
Wow.
something different. At what
And
point?
and you know what else it is? This is what's confusing for my women that are so bright, is they are so bright. And they're like, I don't know why I can't solve this with
Yeah.
my head.
Yeah.
That's the piece. It's not, please do not have shame around the fact that you haven't solved it yet. I want to make that really clear. It does not make you any less intelligent. What makes you fucking intelligent is going, oh, hang on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to be able to figure it out from here,
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing safe about love. No.
Mm-hmm.
Love requires courage. Love requires us to show up fully in who we really are. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
relationships out there that are not loving, that you wouldn't want to be in. There are a lot of marriages that you
Oh
wouldn't want
man.
to be in. There are a lot
Yeah.
of children being brought into the world that shouldn't be, because it's toxic. And why I invited you in, Vashti, is because I remember distinctly, it was so powerful. You're like, this has been going on with women in my family, and I'm not prepared to watch this happen. Like, I want to
Oh
be the
yeah.
person that changes this for my family.
Oh, 100%. Like, forget about just my personal, you know, cyclical nature of like failed relationships, but just my family. I mean, I don't know if my great grandma knew who her father was. I know my grandma didn't know who her father was. I know my mom, she kind of knew, but he wasn't around. My dad wasn't around. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're the only dads in my family are the ones we've made. So, like, my brother's a good dad. You know what I mean? My uncle. But as far as like husbands, they don't exist in my family at all. And so you start looking at that from a, you know, bird's eye view and you go, whoa, this is bigger
It's huge.
than just me. Yeah.
It's bigger than you. It's
Yeah.
ancestral. And if we don't
Yeah.
stop and wake up and get conscious and go, holy shit, it gets to stop with me,
Yeah.
then you're just going to end up in that exact same scenario. We live
Oh
into
yeah.
that context that gets handed down to us. And Kiki just said, you know, I think some women are in denial about the urgency for them to sort themselves out and attract their soulmate, just like she was.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was someone, she's going through this process with you right now, but she's super bright. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm independent.
Right.
I'll figure it out. And then when I asked her that same question about, well, if you don't do something radical, you will be in the same place this time next year, because the consequence is continuing to end up in the same relationships, relying on hope that it's
Mm-hmm.
just somehow going to all work out. That's not powerful. That's not something tangible. Hope is not a strategy,
Right.
right?
The hope is that you meet the right guy. He's the one who's going to fix everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. The guy's going to fix everything. Not. What? It's the certainty that you girls learn here in Soul to Soul to build within yourself and to connect with your intuition and your heart, where you're going to know flat out, is this my guy, yes or no? You don't need to ask people. You don't need to question yourself. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
And it's that direct connection to your brilliance and your heart, Vashti, that is absolutely all over your energy right now.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah, like I said, I do feel very different after only, you know, would we say 5, 6 weeks in Soul to Soul for sure.
and
Yeah.
it's you know, and the truth is it's like, it's definitely getting out of your comfort zone, right? Like, you could have
Oh
easily
yeah.
just, you had every, it's like, oh, the investment's too much, or I don't feel like it's not the right time. But there was something in you that was like, no, I have to do this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was thinking about going back into therapy, which I had done several years ago, for longer than I've even been in Soul to Soul now, and I never felt anything like I feel now. I mean, I didn't feel different. I didn't feel I was integrating any of the things I was picking up in therapy. It was just sort of, it would happen and then, okay, you know, it's once a week
Yep.
and you feel good for a few hours afterwards, and then you're right back into your same patterns and all that other shit right
Yep.
immediately afterwards until you go back the next week. Then you feel good again, and you know what I mean. I probably did that for close to a year or something like that, and I was thinking about going back in. I was like, well, okay, let's see if it's compatible with insurance.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah.
doing all that, and
Yep.
along with thinking about match and eHarmony, all that whole time period. And then when I saw, you know, you, I was like, yeah, let's do something different, because it didn't work. It was all
That's
about, you know, this and not integrating the feeling and all that stuff. It was just like not, it didn't connect with me the way that it's as advertised. Apparently, therapy is supposed to give you these groundbreaking shifts, right? And I just didn't experience that with therapy. And there was definitely something holding me back from going back in.
well,
And
because
I
you
have
shouldn't.
felt those shifts with you.
That's amazing, Vashti. You know, because, and this is the thing, girls, this is why for some of you, I have genuinely not been able to invite in that are in this group because you're not ready. It's not about getting anyone into the program. You can feel that with the quality of women in there, right? It's not about that. You have to be ready to commit. You have to want you have to want your dream more than your fear and your excuses and your bullshit. And if you don't, it just means you're not ready and it's not going to work. Okay. Yeah. There's plenty of people that are looking for things not to work. And luckily they don't get into my program because I'm like, listen, if this is not like, fuck yeah, I want to change my life, then we're not going to dance together. So what I heard before, Vashti, was you said, you know, I was going every week and I felt good for a second until I had it again. And that's like drugs.
Yeah. Right. Need another hit.
That's like getting another hit. So yeah. I'm so glad you found your way here. It's been a freaking honor, like watching you just step into, because there's been moments, right, where you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Yeah, definitely had.
It gets
yes, 100%.
But this is not like some little unicorn dance off. This is not like, yay, Vashti, we're just gonna have like a little chat about what's not working. Like, no.
No.
Because girls, I want you to hear this. Just like Kiki said, you know, she was like, she was in denial. She didn't realize how much she'd been lying to herself. And she cried about that when she got in and did the work. Yeah. She was like, holy shit, I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't been claiming my future. And what's at stake right now is everything, right? You could be setting yourself up right now by putting yourself first and getting the one thing you've been missing, which is support, proper support. Get a mentor. Don't keep trying to wing it on your own and be, I've got this, I'm strong, I'm independent, I'm smart. Don't do that anymore. Like it's robbing you of everything that you want. And if it really was working, you would have the outcome. So this is just a real wake-up call to say, if you want to continue to live in this constant self-doubt, questioning yourself, wondering, how am I going to know if this is the guy or not? Then do the work to open your heart, because you will miss the opportunity to have children. And I've seen some of my friends that are in that space right now, and it breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. It truly, truly does. And so it's like, there is a solution. There's always, always, always a solution, you know? And Vashti, is there anything right now that you wanted to just add to this topic, this conversation about the fact that you were just so in your uncertainty around love?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just to put a bow on it, you know, the uncertainty is definitely coming from something that you have to try to find within yourself and try to shore up those feelings about yourself and your self-worth, and get to know yourself a bit more and understand what you're feeling, so that when you do meet that guy, you recognize him right away. You're not doing it from a checklist of like, oh, maybe I need a guy who's a gym rat. I need a guy who's blonde. I need a guy who's this. I need a guy who's that, you know, and you can try to find that perfect guy. But one, perfection doesn't exist. And two, he's not going to exist if you don't look within yourself and try to shine a light on what things make you sing and bring you joy and all of those things.
Amen.
So yeah, it's just, it's completely reversed. It's a complete 180 shift from how I was thinking about relationships, putting it all on the guy. And it's been such good work. And like you said, it's not easy. Yeah, but it's very satisfying to see that change, and it's gradual, you know, but to feel like such a different person now than I did 6 weeks ago, when 6 weeks ago I felt like I was going to be the same person a year from then. You know?
My goodness, that's amazing, Vashti. So how then? Hey, gorgeous Taryn. Oh, my soul sisters are here. You have to meet Taryn. She's in LA. Yes. Okay. So how do you feel, Vashti, now, knowing that you've taken charge and you've like put something into place that's actually penetrating? That as we head towards 2020, like how are you feeling about the future now?
I mean, I'm feeling like everything is growing and shifting, you know, not just my thoughts about a soulmate relationship, but thoughts about my business, thoughts about music. I'm a musician. You can see the bass in the back. Yes. I mean, okay, so this bass, this upright bass, I bought this thing, I want to say 5 years ago or something like that. And I've never played it on stage, not once. I've always been too afraid to. Because it's an upright bass and I didn't go to music school, and what right do I have to play an upright bass? You know what I mean? And I whipped it out, was just like, no, like screw that. Like this is me. This is my story. I'm going to rewrite this script. I get to play this thing on stage. I whipped it out last night actually. And it sounded great. And I'm doing things completely different now from a place of like, what do I dream about? What do I want to do? What else can I change?
Yes,
So yeah, it's
Vashti.
affecting everything.
That's the other thing that, girls, we're here for the topic, which is, you're constantly questioning yourself when it comes to men and love and relationships, but it's showing up everywhere. It's
Yeah.
showing up in relationships, second guessing yourself in friendships. It's showing up with your client
Oh my
relationships
God.
in every aspect. It's showing up in your finances. It's
Yeah.
showing up in your health. Why? Because it creates anxiety. It creates
Mm.
upset in the stomach. It creates headaches. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
So it's actually a much bigger conversation than just questioning yourself about a man. Yeah, isn't she awesome, Eleni? You guys would love each other. You're going to meet each other. So, really, so much gold coming from you, Vashti. And yeah, exactly. All Taryn sees is a queen on fire. And that's who she is.
Thank you.
Just the fact that I know everyone's loving you right now. And I'm so glad you came on. Thank you so much because,
Yes.
girls, I want you to hear in here, like, step up for you. Stop sitting there doing the bare minimum and expecting that a guy is just going to come on in when you least expect it. It doesn't work like that. We're an energetic universe, and you got to put your ass into gear. You got to want this and fight for it because you're dealing with over 30 fucking years of conditioning. Like, that's huge. It's not just a quick trip to the healer or to, getting a little bit of hypnosis or having people do things to you. That's not powerful. So if you're sitting there coasting along and sitting in there feeling entitled because you've done all the work, it's not serving you. You deserve everything, but you're the only one that can fight for you and get that future because there's a sea of men out there that would love to marry you. And you only need one. But you've got to get out of the way and you've got to get out of the bullshit and you've got to get out of this toxic mindset and belief system that is hijacking the future that belongs to you. That's my message for today. It's so much bigger, right, Vashti?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know.
It really is.
Start singing now. I want to write.
I
I'm actually being really inspired right now that they've got music in me that I want to share just about this and how women, we're so powerful, but we sit on our power. We sit on our self-expression. We hold back with our intimacy. We overgive sexually, trying to move relationships forward, and we should never compromise our value and our worth for anyone or anything. And that's one of the biggest things, right? In
Yeah.
Soul to Soul, it's like you first,
Oh yeah.
Eleni's like, seriously, Vashti, you've got the glow on and it's contagious. I know.
Thank you.
I kind of want you to sing a song for us, but
Oh God.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. Maybe you and I can create something another time.
That would be cool.
Because I'm moving to LA, so maybe we can
That's right.
jam. Because
Yeah,
I'm a singer in a past
come to my little studio. You're more than welcome.
Yes, please. I'll take you up on that. We'll have to actually. Yes. Well, listen, that's a whole other story. But when we get together, I'm holding a retreat in Australia in January. So maybe, just maybe, we'll actually all rock out when we get there.
That'd be amazing.
Music's the best thing on the planet. Anyway, so listen, if you haven't seen my masterclass, it's free. Go in and watch it, right? Knock yourself out. It's in this group. And then if you're sitting here and you're like, oh gosh, I so relate to Vashti. I'm sitting on my greatness. It's time for me to soar. Then book a call and let's chat. And Vashti, would you be cool if they reached out to you to ask you like questions? Just
Oh, of course.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Don't
of course,
harass
anytime.
her. She's a woman in demand right now. But I want you girls to really take this to heart, yeah? Don't keep putting up with questioning yourself. It's the shittiest way to live. I used to literally ask for like 6 opinions every relationship. What's this text mean? And should I do this? And is it too early for that? And should I? It was so painful. And it was
oh my God.
for the people around me, they're like, are you retarded? Like, why is this so hard? But it used to be hard.
That's right. You write a text and show it to your friend first. Can I send this?
Right? And there's just
worst.
And then how quickly should I respond? And should I
Yeah.
it? I don't want to be. No, girls, that's not a soulmate relationship. It's a soulmate relationship is easy. It really is. That's what I want you to take down into your bones. If you're telling yourself relationships need to be hard, I don't know how that's working out for you, but trust me, they are actually, when it's right, they don't stifle you. They don't suffocate you. They make you a better woman. And that's because you've taken the time to be your own soulmate first. And as Vashti said so eloquently, to know yourself, to know what turns you on, and to really feel into your value first. Otherwise, it's like you're flinging yourself out there in the dating world right now with absolutely no filter, just hoping like that something works. And it's not okay. You girls are too good for that. Yeah. So big
Definitely.
love, Vashti. I know I could just sit here staring at you. The girls are like, got it. I think they're all having girl crushes right now.
Bring it.
I was like, please don't stalk her, but she said bring it. So listen.
Yeah.
I love it, Vashti. Well, listen, yeah, look, such an honor to have you on today and also to be part of your process. You're a freaking rock star, inside and
Thank you.
out.
Thanks so much. Yeah,
Fully.
thanks for having me on today. This is great.
I'm so glad you came on. And beautiful Soul Sisters, thanks for joining us. And look, write the comments below if there's anything I didn't cover that you wanted to hear in this live about this topic. Please don't, like, there's no silly questions. Post your questions or post what's resonating. And most importantly, take action to get your future on track and to get into alignment so you can fucking have sex on tap, intimacy on tap, and walk down the aisle with the love of your life. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Love.
Exactly.
Love.
100%.
Yes. All right, I'm going to go and steal a kiss from that husband of mine in the kitchen. He's cooking, which suits him.
Ooh,
And I'll be
nice.
seeing you tomorrow.
Absolutely. See you tomorrow afternoon.
Mwah. Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.